everyone. We are so happy that you are joining us for Season 3 of Late Night Riders. On this episode, we are sitting down as a family and talking about a range of topics. So listen in as Debbie tells the story of how RAMM was started, what we went through when COVID hit, and how we keep things fun at RAMM. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast.
So the podcast started back in 2018, technically. We launched in 2019. So we've had this podcast for 3 years now. So we're going to go over...
and we being, if you could say, we being the
family
of RAMM, which is then...
Well, we should probably break down the family. So if you didn't know, RAMM is a family company.
Right.
It starts with my grandma, Debbie. She is the owner of RAMM, founder and owner.
Baca.
Yeah. Right. And then it goes to my mom, who is...
my daughter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
but my parents started it, so it was Baca and your papa.
Right.
So Mike and Debbie
Us
started
together,
it,
right.
And then now that he's passed and he's been gone for three and a half years
Over
now.
3, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It is Debbie, and then I'm her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and then my
Kristen.
brother Mikey is involved in it, and we have a sister Mindy, and she was a teacher. So she's
That's family.
Yeah,
the family.
that's our family. And then my husband
Right.
works here. Your dad works here, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have now your grandchildren, my daughters, Gretchen and Ida, are working here now.
Gretchen and Ida.
And Mindy has her 3 little ones that come around here. They've been on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mikey has a wife that works from home, and her name is Sam.
Yep, so it's all family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other people we brought in, you know, as
Now we call it the RAMMily. And
some people do. Yeah.
Luke, who's sitting behind the scenes here helping us produce this,
He's part
he's
of
the
it.
one who started calling it the RAMMily. So we
He's
have the
part of it.
RAMMily name.
He's in
But we
it.
all feel like a family.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So we've been in business for over 30 years, and
2 plus.
yeah, I think it was either 32 or 33 at this
there.
point. And you started it out of your dining room, which is crazy.
Started in the dining room, and then because when you kids came home from school, it got too noisy.
we were so quiet.
and
like
so,
church mice.
Yeah, so it moved to the basement. Then they ran up and down the hallway, which was too loud. So then we had a pole barn building on our property, and we moved it to what had been a dog kennel. So that's how we basically started, because we had put in some fencing that we thought was the best thing ever, called stud rail, and then it started to deteriorate. We started to work with the company and talk to customers and things, and then we decided we couldn't carry the product. So we moved on to other products, and we wanted to be horse people that talked to other horse people about products that would be long-lasting. But then we also wanted to tell them that because horses are large animals, you know, and they can do whatever they want to do, we wanted to tell them everything about the product, the good side, indifferent side, and even if there were some maybe things that weren't so great for their particular horses. So our whole thing, you know, kind of rolled into wanting to do
Wanting to educate customers.
Yeah, educate customers. And so, yeah, I did
And
that
be
for
safer.
a while. Yeah, with my girlfriends from the barn, pulled people in from my barn because I had a boarding facility there. And then my husband came into it, who was really the businessman, and I was just the horse person that could talk. So then we just kind of went from there, and
I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit.
You don't.
well, and then we started to try to grow in the dog kennel, and then you know, it just got like I used to call it like a little sardine can, got too tight, and we only had like how many people? There was just maybe
Oh, was
Paul
there like
came
6
in, and
people?
maybe Norm, and then
There's probably
myself
about
and your dad, and
It was just a little.
yeah, you couldn't
little
get any more
area.
people. So later after that, then Paul was talking to a friend of ours and found out about a property that was a turkey farm, had been a turkey farm with the buildings. And so we came to where we are now, 30 acres, 4 large buildings on a roof. I don't know the square footage of the buildings, but anyway, 4 large buildings on a roof, and probably about, I don't know how many employees, maybe 40-ish. 40-ish employees, 45-ish. Yep. So that's where we've grown then today.
Right next to the airport, if you can
Right-
hear the
right
plane
by-
flying over.
Toledo Express. If you ever want to fly
Yeah.
in, we're right by Toledo Express.
So if you come to RAM, the buildings that we have here, one is the building that you primarily go to, our
Building
sales building. And in the back of the sales building is our warehouse for all of our fencing needs. One of our buildings is dedicated to a stall warehouse. One is an overstock building, and then the other one is where we actually manufacture our stalls on site. Our fencing is manufactured down in Alabama, and they truck it up here, and then it goes directly to the customer.
Yep. So that's where we are today then. So.
So last year, if you guys have followed along on the Instagram stories, we talked about building a barn.
We
So
sure
we've
did.
had the
Well,
barn.
we've been
year
talking
before
about this
that,
for a long
maybe.
Right.
time.
So,
And then COVID came in.
right. So can someone explain a little bit about what's going on with the barn saga?
Well,
Well,
let
can
me
I
just
just
say-
I,
go ahead,
can I just
go
say
ahead.
this one thing? So I was just talking to one of our account managers today, and I said, we've been talking about doing this barn for quite some time. You guys had a property. You moved over to another property that had a barn but didn't have an arena. You thought you were going to build your barn there. We were going to do all the fence there.
Then we had.
Then my dad passed away. You
It
guys
was a
were
big-
planning on
yeah.
moving back anyways to your other house.
Correct.
But here in the meantime, like I've always said, like this is what our customers do though. Our customers
Right.
go through these things. They say, I'm gonna build a barn right now, and then it doesn't happen. And sometimes these things can take 4, 5, 6 years. We're into our
We understand that.
probably 5th or 6th year of
We know
saying
it.
we were going to have a barn, and our horses are here on site.
Mm-hmm.
We
That
are
company.
on a very busy highway. We can't ride them. You can ride them here, but there's a lot of trucks
Right,
and
but there's trucks and forklifts.
we didn't have a
and-
dedicated place to
airplanes
put
and-
any
Yeah, everything.
to put them
cars.
to wash them down. We don't have a dedicated place to have
At the
tack. And we started to do that this year because
tack
because of the pandemic, we thought, well, we'll try to make it work here. So we got one of the little houses that we have that's on site and put a tack room in
Remodeled.
there, remodeled that, and then
Yes.
now we are looking at you're looking at either
So
building.
now we'll either build or find a barn, one of the two. We're not sure where we're at just yet. So, but, we needed to wait too, like other people, when building costs just shot up with COVID. I mean, COVID really, took a number hit with us. And so I wanted to wait until, so we didn't have to pay the top premium number, for building, because building's so expensive. So we're really at the threshold right now of either planning or purchasing, a farm. So we can't wait. We're really excited, and this year we'll be able to tell the story of what we do. So I hope everybody watches because it should be interesting and fun. So
So going along with that, what do you want in your barn? And what stalls do you want? What color fencing?
well, see, that's the thing. We talk to
depends on
everybody
where
all the
you-
time.
yeah.
We can tell everybody else what to do, but then we can't do it. That's the problem, right? We're good at telling people what to do or
Yeah.
what we think would work. So, we all had a different idea too. Like even, my husband Mike had a different idea of colors, and you guys might have a different idea, and we will talk about Mike, and him not being here. But I mean, my ideas were so different than his. But when I think of a barn, I cannot wait to put our products into it, our stalls. They are the guys and the we have a welder, a girl that's over there too. We welcome anybody. They do such a good job, and they take such pride in their work.
Paige is actually our head welder.
She is. She's so good. And the thing is that they're so beautiful, and they are so careful about what they do. It's really neat to know that you have handcrafted stalls. So, of course, I'm not sure exactly which stall I would want to put in. I've had noblemen's in the past. I've had the portables. Portables are, I know, I get
The Dublins?
Dublins,
Yes.
which I love. I've had those as well. We've also had like different doors and swing doors and things like that. So, so I've yet to figure that out. But hopefully with an indoor, I mean, I want a sound system. I like to jam with my horses. I don't know if anybody else does, but I like music. So I can't wait, you know. And so that's kind of fun. And then fencing wise, I like the 525 because it's the widest. I truly have always liked either the white and the black. I've always said make a statement. You know, in Kentucky several years ago, everything was white, and then it all went to the black fencing. I think because, I mean, in Kentucky they would have the farms were so huge. The crews would start at one end of the farm and work their way around to the other, and take a year to get around to maintain
Oh, and
the
they're
fences.
still doing that.
Right. So the black was a little easier to maintain, you know, so
Depending on what
they both
area you're
make
into.
statements.
So we
Yeah.
have some areas around just right here that is like swamp area. If you put your white fencing in, you can still have it in. You just have to go around and wash it off. The black isn't
if you
going
get
to show.
mold that goes on, if you have any particles of dust or anything sap from trees that blow, anything in the wind, you know, that comes in the spring, you know, dirt could be attracted to that. So it never penetrates down into the fence, but it stays on the surface. It can be washed off. But if you want to go with a brown or a black, you're not going to see it. You know?
And not much maintenance, you know, to make it look a certain way
Minimal.
either. Yeah. With the
Minimal.
white, you sometimes, I mean, I know we live in the woods and anything there is going to just turn
Yes.
dark no matter what it is. But we could still have the white fence if that's what we wanted and then, you know, wipe it down.
I like the 4-rail, but then I also like combination fence, or, you know, I like more if we're going to do anything that's either race line or shock line. I like more because not from the standpoint for my horses, I don't want the spaces large. And we have minis up to our half draft. So I want to be sure that those spaces are close, because our whole thing for starting this was a safer alternative for horses. We are thinking about the horse, you know, what are we going to do? Because that's where they live. That's their home, you know, so make it safe. So I don't know yet what color it would be. I'm not sure yet, the color. But anyway, that's my
I think
thoughts
I'm more on the practical side at this point in my life. I like them all. I think they're beautiful. I mean, you out at your other farm, you had all 4-rail, and it was the
Wait.
yeah. And then you did
Started white.
you did, and then you switched it to black.
We did.
Black is beautiful. They're both beautiful, but combination fences and shock line and race line, I mean, those are, they keep the horses in. We have some mesh here for the sheep that we have with
With a top sight
with a
rail.
top sight rail. I mean,
Looks good.
I actually, whatever you put up, I think it looks good no matter what we've been putting up.
The thing is that for our horses too, you have to think of, you know, and I'm talking about us personally, but, you know, our horses are not like other people's horses. So you can't take what we're
Right.
saying and say this applies to my horse. You know, different farms require different things. So for us, you know, we don't have like one certain breed, like just all thoroughbreds or,
We have
you know, or
whole little,
I don't know, you know, quarter horse or what, you know, we have a group of,
we
you
have
know,
all different horses
from
here.
small to large. So, you know, I would want a fence with my rails closer. And, but I do like, I love the race line and shock line as well, very much so. I mean, we've got it up here and it works out
Right.
great. And we're by a highway, a main highway that is busy. I mean, this is where north meets south. We're at the, you know, place where you've got the north meets south and the highways, you know, here. And so there's a lot of traffic on our road on airport. So I really love the thoroughbeds. We had those before in our barn, and the horses loved it. We had, like, we called it nap time in the barn, 10 o'clock in the morning. After they had eaten, we'd go in, and you could hear them breathing. Some even made little snore noises. It was so cute. And you walk in, and they'd just be flat out horses laying in their stalls. So they rest better. I mean, I love that.
Because we did night turnout at that time.
And brought them in during the day, yeah. And the lighting system that we have, the lights that we have, I think are really, you can see your horses, and that's one thing. It simulates the natural light that makes a big difference in a barn. So I can't wait for all of that. Just cannot wait.
Yeah, it's really exciting, especially going from not having a barn for so many years to having one.
Oh, it's terrible. It's just like a, you know, like a, just you want it so bad. So I cannot wait. Yeah, really excited about that. So.
I think things that we've heard from our customers that they've done and things that we need to look into as well. We've done moisture lock. We have, for the indoors and things like that. And we can look at like arena footings and things like that. The paradise pastures, different things that we've never done before. We've done your, normal pastures, or even doing what do you do on the outside of you bring your fence in so that you have like a bridle path.
Bridle path.
We've talked
bridle
about some of
path
those
all the way
things, too.
around is great. I love bridle paths. We do it here. We ride around the outside edge here, and that
Yeah.
makes such a big difference. So, I like that because it is busy here. There's a lot of action here with trucks and forklifts and so forth. So, and I just have to say too, fortunately, we live by Oak Openings Park that I love. I just have to, which is a metro park where you can ride your horses. So we do tell people if they come here and, they do decide that they want to come back or whatever, the riding is just beautiful. It's such a diverse park, but we are so fortunate because we live in the Oak Openings region and it's beautiful. So we will be able to ride to the park from where we are, which we can't wait for. We love to just do that. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Right now, Stephanie will trailer your horses over for you, and you and Stephanie go and ride in the park. One of our account managers here.
Yes.
So that's been so nice that she does that.
Yes.
Which, speaking of that, a lot of our account managers are horse people as well, which I think is huge because when you're talking to someone about horse fencing, you want them to be a horse person too.
Yeah.
They're going to understand things that most normal people would not. So I think that's a huge benefit of calling in and talking to people here.
But going back to also, too, like us doing our planning and what our customers do, like we went through a lot. We, our first, how many years would we say it was with your dad, with Mike? We were, Mike really ran the company. He was a real businessman that, we really, he was a mover and a shaker. So, and then over 3 years ago, then when he passed away, we went through quite a transition. And
the pandemic.
Yeah.
So So when we went through that transition with him leaving, and you talk about a company that saw a big change. I mean, all of us were kind of like we just came to a halt, I think, at that point in time, and saying that we understand when our customers go through things, the changes. Everything changed within our company too. The leadership changed within the company. We had to talk to some of the vendors that my husband had talked to, Mike, frequently, and we needed to we'd kind of go into waters that hadn't been crossed before. And so I feel like we've gotten there. We're not there yet. Who's ever where they need to be exactly if you talk to anybody that owns a company. But the thing is that, we're getting there. But that was a big screeching halt for us, and it took us probably a year. It took me a year. I can remember when we started the podcast, and I think I was just numb, Then we moved into, I don't know, kind of trying to transition into who we are today, and I think we're there. Yeah. And that, also changed, I think, our company to a degree. Just in, how can I say it? It just changed where we were headed in the pandemic.
And our company culture changed a lot.
Yes,
we went from,
yeah,
a very strict, everyone's working 9 to 6, 9 to 8 sometimes,
Old school.
to like now we're doing like Employee Appreciation Day where we bring in food trucks to, boost morale. And I just done a lot of that we do RAMMtivities.
Yes, for the people here.
Where there's ways to like win
ice
incentives
cream truck and food truck and different things that we bring in. It's changed because our world has changed. We've really had to grow into that. And
we invested some money in merch, so
And
there's a bit of like company pride.
Yes.
And I think with the pandemic and I guess when I started working here, I think people really just needed that boost of morale, and I think that's been it's helped us.
You all helped us. You helped us grow to where we are because you've been here how long now, Ida? About
A year and a half, maybe.
and you've been here how long now, Gretchen?
Coming up on 4 years.
And see, I just love that young blood. You know, I just have to say it. I mean, they bring in so much to the team, and you know, brought us up to date and up to speed, as well as others in our company too. Luke does that too, and he's on the other side of the mic, but Luke does that as well too, and we appreciate that because you know, when you've been in that mold for so long of just doing business, you know, what do they say? Business. How do they say that business is or you know, how I'm not getting the words, but it, you know, it has to change a little bit. You have to grow with the culture and so forth. And we have, then the pandemic came, and then that changed. That pandemic was a hard hit for everyone.
I think it was, we got kind of like hit hard, you know, and I will say that the employees that we have here and what we call our RAMMily, you know, we have wonderful people that work here.
They've been so
People that have been here
patient.
for years, and so they held us up while we were going through, you know, this tragic loss, and they went through the loss as well too,
They did.
because they worked with
Right.
my dad.
They were
you
very
know,
close
and-
with him.
years.
Several, yeah, very,
right,
you know,
and
admired
but
him.
we all worked together, and you know, good days and bad days, but the foundation was set. You know, we have a very good foundation
do,
here, and so
solid.
bringing in the things like RAMMtivities and how much appreciation we need during this time, because the world outside is so hard.
Yeah.
To bring these things in, along with all the things that we've been through, has been so important, and I mean, it just has changed everything here, and the way that people say things. We have people that want to come back, you know, if they've had to have something, try something different, you know, and they're like, we actually really like it here. So, you know, we get people that come back, which is really nice.
And I have to say, to add to that foundation, you know, has been something that we've all stood on. We know it takes a firm foundation to build on something. Our faith and our belief is really strong on a firm foundation, and that's what we tried to set here for the company, which we can see is as much as we've gone through. Now we're 3 generations of family now. You know, that firm foundation stands tight, you know, and we've had a lot of things come up against our company with different, you know, things as they come and so forth, but because that foundation is strong, you stand on a strong foundation, and that's, here we are today still, you know.
And I would like to say, like, we wouldn't be here without our customers, because we have
Our
so
customers are
many
everything.
repeat customers.
Oh,
During COVID, we
oh
couldn't.
my goodness.
The phones kept ringing. We were like in shock. Everyone wanted to buy horse fencing.
Yes,
and
they came
it
to
was,
us, and it was so wonderful to see all the people that came and have come,
It was a
and
huge blessing.
we can't be here if it's not for them. I mean, we
Right.
would not be here. So
And we have the best stories. We get the best pictures. We've seen the cutest horses.
Relationships
Yeah,
with
I mean, we do have
customers.
relationships with customers, and customers that come and pick up their product. It's so much fun when they get to see our horses, and you know, they show us pictures of
we
theirs.
wanna
They
hear about
bring
it.
their dogs sometimes,
That's
and that's
the
the
best.
cutest thing.
horse people like to do. They like to talk about their horses, and we do
Yeah.
too. So we want to talk to you about your horses and your situation.
Yeah.
And that's what we love. That's our passion. We are passionate, deeply passionate about what we do. So yes, and that's never changed. The passion is the heart of the company, is the passion for people and their horses. That's why we do this, you know.
Yeah, and we also didn't mention we had to change our complete
Computer
computer
system.
system.
Oh.
The entire thing. They
Anybody
they-
that's ever had to get a new CRM with everything, books, CRM,
the whole ERP system.
ERP.
Yes.
Oh,
They said
it
we're going to
was-
shut you down, no more support during
terrible.
COVID, and we only had 9 months to, and so we're still dealing with that. But to go through all of that with the pandemic, and I
All
know
at
this is
once.
where everybody's going
Hit
through. We're
us
all
at one time.
going through
I
things.
would like to say we do carry a lot of products. If you need anything for your farm or barn, we probably have it. With that being said, when the inventory's off and you're having to go around and do a manual inventory every 2 days,
And we did.
We
and
did.
yeah, so we could, but our sales staff really stuck with us on that one. That was good, because we have gone through some bumps and bruises, but I think we're
They're
moving
troopers.
beyond. Yeah, I think we're getting over
And
the
we've
hump.
had a handful
thankfully.
of employees that have been with us for a long time. and
goodness,
so for
yes.
them to have to learn a new system, and we've had to update it to
fun.
modern technology,
Yeah.
you know, and so even using like Google Drive, you know, that's been
Some of us would
quite
go home a little
interesting.
upset and come back in a
Yeah,
little upset,
it's
not
been-
happy. Yeah, but it's much better.
Our dad has been here the longest out of all of the salespeople, right? And that would be 27 years because he started a year before I was born. And then right behind him would be Veronica, right?
Yeah.
And she's been here for
Oh, I don't want to say it wrong
20
because I'm
some
not sure.
years.
Long
20,
time.
about
20 some
20
years.
Yeah.
You
And I
guys would
hired
sit
Veronica
under
in.
her
That's so
desk
funny.
and squish the
bubble
bubble wrap.
wrap.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. They were so little when she came in. So
So you guys have been here for a long time. You guys were here in meetings.
well, they were.
And
We would go out to different meetings and things too. Like if we had to go to dinner or something and take it to that late in the evening, we'd lay our coats on the floor and lay you little girls on the coats until you go to sleep, and you would. I mean, we just drug you with us wherever we went. You've been involved in this from the beginning, and knew when to be quiet and when you could play, and you had fun, did all kinds of things. But yeah, it's yes, yeah. And
Worked in
speaking
the
of which,
warehouse in high school and
goodness, that
Yeah,
takes me
you
back
did.
to even Mikey, my son, that works with and oversees the stall division. Like when he was little, my goodness, when we first started, he would ride his skateboard into my office because it was just a concrete floor, and then go right into the barn on the concrete floor, and people tell him to get out of there because they were in there with the horses. I mean, we have really come from some fun places. We're just normal, everyday people.
yeah.
So let's see. We talked about the barn. What else do we have? What's next?
well, what color barn? I'm just going to ask.
Okay.
What color barn do you? So this is the funny part. We
So-
all have our ideas on colors. And what color barn would you have if you could have a barn? The first barn
terrible.
that we had that was actually like a barn with an arena was red.
Red with white trim.
Yes, and you really liked
And
that
I
red.
liked that. I did like
you
it
liked
because we had
color.
a white house with black shutters. It just
Really
that-
gives me, and no offense to anyone who has this, but it gives me Bob Evans vibe. And only because we're from Ohio, it's on our license
thinking
plate.
Bob
And
Evans. Yes,
I
it
had,
is.
when
That's
I lived
true.
in Tennessee, I had so many people make fun of my license plate. So when I think
love
of
Tennessee.
Red Barn, I think of Bob Evans.
okay. So we'll move on. And then our next barn was kind of a taupe color. What was the trim?
White.
Was it? Okay. And that just kind of blended in. And then what was after
But the main thing
that?
about that was that, Dad did that because he didn't want, to see all of the dirt marks that would come up on it. So
was very
again,
nice.
it was like a lower maintenance way because when you
Yeah.
have a white barn, you're going to have to be washing that down all the time. And
I will say I do love Erin from Silver Oaks Barn.
love
She has this beautiful
It's black,
black,
gray charcoal.
So cool.
barn.
Black, yeah.
And if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. And I think it would be really cool if we did that.
So that's my problem. I've seen the dark colored barns, and I like the dark charcoal. I
Yeah.
mean, I was able to, choose colors for my chicken coop, which is I call it the Poultry Palace because it's beautiful. It was really nice. It has baby cupolas on it and stuff for the chickens. I just love my chickens. But anyway, it is a dark charcoal, almost black gray with white trim, and I do love that. So I think it's pretty. I think I was just trying to decide, like, would it be so hot in the summer? And people have said, no, not really. It's not like the ones I've talked to. So that would be one choice. But if we do, purchase a barn, then it's going to be what it is. And I guess we could always change that. But, yeah. What do you think? Are you guys thinking of a color? I don't know.
Black.
Black with white trim.
I
think
mean,
it's-
I think a white barn would be beautiful, but I could not imagine the upkeep.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty. They are pretty. So, yeah. So we'll see. That's yet to be
Yeah.
determined. So I have to listen to see what we do end up with, which will be
Yeah.
fun because it'll probably just change everything we just
will.
said. Because that's how
Yeah.
our customers do.
it'll
it, too.
probably be red.
Oh, gosh.
Back to Bob
Gretchen's like,
Evans.
no.
And it all
Thousands.
comes full circle.
There it is.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite moment this year? I already know Ida's, but did you two have a favorite moment this year?
Favorite moment.
I don't think it was
haven't
a
thought about
favorite. I think it was the funniest moment
Funniest
for me.
favorite moment. I can't think of anything. You guys talk about yours, and I'll think about it.
So Gretchen and I we share an office, and so we were sitting down in the morning, and Gretchen likes to start her day off with coffee. I like hot chocolate because I don't like, or tea. And we were sitting there and like working, and she gets down to the end of her coffee.
Oh, this is bad.
And there's a huge like earwig, like millipede kind of like thing at the bottom
in her
of
coffee
it.
cup.
I thought I was gonna get
Oh.
sick.
She about
awful.
died, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh my gosh!" Like,
I think
like
I
a
even
trooper.
said, I looked at it and I looked at Ida and I said, I think I'm going to get sick. And she's like, why?
But
and
you
I
said
just
it really calm, though, I think.
set
Yeah.
it over to the side and walked out of the room.
Yeah.
and I looked at it, and I was like,
It's horrible.
you know, and I was like,
Oh.
But anybody that's been in a barn, too, not that this is our office is a barn. Yeah, I'm probably used to stuff like that.
well, and it was funny because I think it was like later that week too. Gretchen borrowed my marshmallows for hot chocolate, and I was
We
like,
went through a
Gretchen,
very big hot chocolate phase.
we did.
We did.
And so I was like, Gretchen, where's the paper clip? Because I didn't have like anything to like put on the marshmallows to close it. And she's like, I don't know, I didn't take it. And so later on, the paper clip was in her hot chocolate. So
It was just a
rough week.
it was a week.
It's a rough week. It was a rough week.
I
Do you
think
have
you
one?
got into your car accident that week too.
It was
That
pretty
was
bad.
a rough
That was a
week.
rough week.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you have one?
I don't really have like a favorite moment. I think we've just been, working with Zoho so much, the new ERP
Which is-
system,
yeah.
that I think just like the trying to get everything put back
We're getting there.
together and
We're getting
figure
there.
out like where we were with everything. I'll just talk about this. So we passed out the book for Christmas, the Path Between Us, and it's about the Enneagram. And I think just like learning about people, figuring out how to work with people, because you're just inundated every day with all of these things that you're doing, and then that brought kind of like a lighthearted thing that we could all figure out who everybody was like. And it's been fun talking about what personalities
Yeah.
people have and how do you work with people. For us as a family, it has really helped us to like learn about each other and learn how to work with each other, because even though we're family, and you would think growing up together, and even raising your children, you would all get along, and we do, but there's so many things that we've figured out. And so even within the company and figuring things out with people, and I think that has just brought like for me, because I'm a 3 and I like to have everything, I'm more like achievement driven. So that would be, where I was. But I think learning about those things and learning about other people, I think was helpful,
Yeah.
to.
You guys are just all smarter than me because you understand. I don't. They have to tell me.
No,
but,
you
know.
just have to read it.
But
yeah,
anyway.
I think it was kind of funny because when we were talking about what we wanted to do for our Christmas gift this year, and we talked about doing blankets from Integreen, which are just beautiful.
Everybody
and
loves
amazing
blankets.
quality.
They are
Everybody
good
loved
blankets.
it.
I mean, they're really awesome.
So we did that, and we did a book last year, and so we wanted to do another one, and so my mom was like, why don't we do an Enneagram book? And a few of us were like, I'm not sure, but we passed it out, and everybody just took off with it, because I think they really wanted to learn how to better communicate with one another.
Communication's big.
And, it's huge.
With our
Especially when you're
customers,
on a team.
and you have to amongst yourselves, and then with the customers, it's huge. So yes,
Yeah.
agree.
So I think it's been something that has really helped us as a family and as a company learn how to work together and communicate better. Because there's things that, you could go on for years not knowing, and then this book just like flat out says, this is what it is. Like for like Gretchen and I'm very direct. I'm an 8, and Gretchen's a 4, and she's the romantic. And so when I talk to Gretchen, and only like working a year and a half here, we bickered.
The little squirt comes in, and
We bickered at the beginning.
Yeah, and so it was funny reading this, because
That's
when I
family.
talked to Gretchen, I talked very direct, and I still do sometimes. And Gretchen was very dramatic when she talked to me, and so learning that I have to be a little softer with my words, and she has to be a little bit more direct with her words has, I think, helped us.
So I think you're saying working with family is easy.
It's very easy. I would recommend it to anyone.
So
Yeah.
you've learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've learned. Okay.
I mean, working with family,
3 generations especially, right?
yeah, we have really,
It's
really
like-
good days, and we have
do.
hard days too.
We do.
Um,
But we always come out at the end
Yeah.
talking.
Right.
We always do. We've
Yeah.
learned, we've managed, and we've learned to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know, having a conversation with your mom who's also your boss.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
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 Or your uncle, or your you know,
Yeah.
your dad, your grandma.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, or your
It's-
grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
It is different.
Luke's laughing.
Luke knows. He
Debbie
sees
was gonna
it.
give you guys money either way.
There you go. If you're nice. No.
Yeah.
Did you have one, Gretchen, or was yours kind of your coffee situation?
No, that was
That was not a favorite moment
No,
for her.
that
What do you
I
want?
just
Horrifying.
enjoyed her reaction.
You thought it was funny. Yes. What's yours?
I think I kind of have two. So one was my dad's birthday this year.
Oh my gosh.
His assistant Cindy decided to get him a squirt gun.
You didn't even get wet, really. I was the one that got the end of that.
And it was one of those like super soakers. Let's not call it a squirt gun. It was a super
Fire
soaker.
hose.
And I have never seen him run so fast through the office and everyone else running away from him.
Scared everybody, huh?
Yes, and so
That's
that's been pretty funny. And occasionally it will make an appearance if someone's been up from their desk talking for way too long.
Veronica.
It takes like several go sit down at your desk before it comes out, but it occasionally does come out. And then the other one is one of our Ramtivities, and you know, we really had to figure out a good balance for the Ramtivity, it not being too much or being too little, to get people involved. And this one I think we took a bit too far. We decided to do. It was around Easter time, and so everyone got a plastic egg that they had to keep an eye on. It had
And
to
take
be
care
It's
of.
terrible.
had to be around them, and people could go around and steal them. And whoever had the most eggs at the end of the month, which we really should have just made it like a
A
week.
week thing.
Yeah.
They had to go
was
out
bad.
and find the golden egg.
To win. But anyways, so whoever had the most eggs were essentially got put into the running in each department to win or whatever it was. The way these people ran after each other when they
Chased.
saw an egg
And got upset.
sitting
Yeah.
and very upset
I
about
mean, it was
these eggs.
emotional.
It
It was.
Because some people would take, like, they gathered like 5 eggs or whatever, and somebody come by and take them all.
Yeah, so if you forgot your egg or you weren't paying
You had
attention,
to be there with them.
and somebody
You got up and-
stole your eggs, that was.
I lost mine in the first 20 minutes.
I did too.
I stole yours.
I know you stole mine.
Got
I'm still a
quite
bit bitter.
competitive, and they got pretty,
So let me just say, if you're thinking about doing some kind of employee thing, that is not the way to go. Because everyone was distracted
Don't
about
tear your
these dumb
team
eggs.
apart. Yeah.
However, in the place that we were, it really did, I think, bring spirits up
It
because it kind of.
We all had really good laughs
To see
about
Yes.
people racing down the weld shop because
I mean,
someone
we
left
pulled
their
up
eggs.
the security cams and we looked at those videos so
hilarious.
many times because people were
So
just
funny.
booking it. And Mikey, he did he steal the eggs or lose the eggs?
He
was trying to
steal
steal.
them.
Trying to steal them, and I haven't seen him run that fast in a long time. So that was fun.
That's
we also
cute.
did a walking challenge.
The walking challenge was
and
good.
That was good because we got everybody
walk
out
all
and
the way
walking
around.
and
Yeah, we have like a track here for the trucks go around, but it's a
Yeah.
nice place to walk,
so
and
we've
everybody
had some
walked.
fun ones. I have to
Everyone
come
was
up with
doing
another
about a
one.
mile every day, and I think that's like a great thing to do.
The survival one, the survival, like on the
That
trail.
was too much.
That was one
Yeah.
you did.
That was too much to keep track of.
Yeah,
But we've done a handful of fun
that
ones.
was fun.
We have to come up with some new ones, but we were
We've done
talking.
creative ones too, which was
Yeah.
fun. Different like create your own. Would we do turkeys one time?
We did turkeys and reindeer. That was
and
fun.
if you haven't guessed, Gretchen and Ida do all the social media and anything that has to do with like our podcasters and creative, all the creative in the office. So they do a lot of the creative, as well as other things. Gretchen also does the warehouse too. So
what I will say about it is
you have
that
to wear a lot of hats here.
Yeah, created such a lightheartedness though, because our divisions are so different. The warehouse is its own little place. The salespeople are their own little place. The support staff are kind of their own, and the like stall warehouse and the RFI, our manufacturing plant.
welding.
So what it did was, like, when we did some of them we would keep in their separate divisions so that they could do it themselves, but we all would all come together at the end to find out who won. Some of them we did, like when you did create the reindeer, make a reindeer out of anything, or make, carving pumpkins. You get everybody involved, and then everybody's picking and choosing for each other, and it brings it together as a complete team.
Yeah.
So even though it sounds like these are funny things that you wouldn't, necessarily, like, it seems more like something we wouldn't do in a workplace, it has brought so much joy to everybody.
Yeah.
And it just takes away from that day to day, the in and out things that you do.
Well, and I think we've really been able to like build a community through it, because I think when I came in, I think I had just missed like the community that I had at school, and so I'm like, I wanted to get to know the welders, and I want the welders to know the warehouse workers, and I want the warehouse, to know our like stall division people, and so, I think by creating that community, like you have said, it just, I love that everyone pretty much knows each other now.
They did.
And lots of friendships have been formed.
They did. When we did the, can't remember what it was, like the health month. You had someone that you were chosen. Yeah, and then you worked with that person from another division, the two of you together to work on what was going to be your healthy plan. And a lot of people really forged forward with what they did and, lost weight and exercised.
Well, that, and they created friendships, and there were people that were like, we're going to pair these two people together. And I think my favorite example from this is Cindy and Paige. Cindy is my dad's assistant and works on the sales floor, and Paige is a welder, like we've talked about. And they are like the best of friends. And Cindy has taught Paige how to crochet. And so they're like little buddies in that.
Side things, that's cute.
And I will say, if this is something that you're thinking about implementing at your company, you really need a handful of people that are, even if it's something dumb, like creating a turkey, you need a small group of people to be super on board with it to get everyone else excited about it.
And we have some people who don't like to participate, and that's okay. And we don't make anybody do something that they don't want to do.
But after seeing some of our prizes, we've had
we do
pretty
nice,
good participation.
we do some fun
We
prizes.
try to do some really nice prizes to say thank you.
Yeah. So.
Giving back is important. It sure is. So I think one of my favorite things was the tech house. I'm sorry. It doesn't include everybody, but it does, But I have moved and moved and moved, and I have so much tech. If you can imagine, I still have things from my first horse. I was like 5. So, you've got so many years of...
You're not the horse person in the family, are you?
No. No. So, right. So, and then we've had draft horses, team of drafts with their harnesses, and then we've had the pony harnesses, and we've had the, I don't know, we have so many different saddles. Mike rode Western, we rode English. I've got all of this in this tack house now, which is just fabulous because I can work on it. I actually have
There's a place
sink
for it.
and the ability to be able to have a counter and saddle racks, and I love it, just because we had moved. And so that's really exciting right now in lieu of getting a barn this year, which I look forward to. So anyway. So speaking of what you all do, the social media platforms that we are all on, some people might not know where they can find us or what we do. So can you talk a little bit about that, the different platforms that we...
If you want to follow us on any of our platforms, we're on the major ones, so Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter, TikTok,
YouTube, and then we're also recently on
Pinterest.
Discord, and I think that's it. that we're currently
Pinterest.
doing. And then we
Oh,
also
Your Horse
have
Farm.
Yeah.
Pinterest. And then we also have our blog, yourhorsefarm.com. We have bloggers from all disciplines. We have blogs on
Big.
so many different topics, whether it's training, rider profiles,
Facets.
you know, best clothes for, you know, winter 2022, things like that. You can find just about anything on our blog. Our blog is almost 4 years old, and it's really grown over the past 4 years.
And Mike wanted to start that, and if you could only see it now,
Right.
because
Right.
it's so big, it's grown so big. So
Yeah.
it's a good place to find a lot of information, and we just keep on adding to it all the time.
And
so,
if there's ever anything that you want to hear about,
we'd love
whether
to hear
it's
from
on
you.
the podcast or the blog, just email us,
Tell
a
us.
topic, or say like, hey, reach out to this person, just because we love getting to know new people and learning more about, the equestrian world.
Right.
So.
And you can email that to podcast@ramfence.com.
And so now, because we can reach out and have such a huge outreach to so many people, I mean, we ship all over. I don't think people realize what we do sometimes, that, international is big. So we have Germany, France, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Australia, Hawaii, Dubai.
Qatar.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on
Ireland.
with, Ireland. All over, including, of course, the United States. And so we work all over. We're not just local, like some people might think we are, because we're a family-owned business. We have a huge outreach. And so that's been exciting to see that grow. So anyway, are you single, Gretchen?
Stop.
That is on the list here.
She is single.
We hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast and encourage you to share with all your equestrian family and friends. You can tune into the Late Night Riders podcast show every Friday night. Each episode will be uploaded exclusively on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our latest shows. Do you have a topic you'd like us to discuss? We want to hear from you. You may email us at podcast@ramfence.com, or feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you again for listening.